Well, hello there, beautiful. Welcome to the Vital Goddess podcast. If you've been here before and you're tuning in again, I so appreciate you. Welcome back. And if you are brand new to the show, never tuned in before, I'm thrilled you're here. And I hope you find something here that you're looking for, something supportive, something useful, something inspiring. I'm Diane Shepherd, and I run a sacred feminine mystery school or a goddess school where I help women reclaim the sacredness of their bodies and the power, and it is a superpower, I assure you, of their pleasure, their sensuality, and their sexual energy. This is the superpower most women are missing. And I created a whole school devoted just to that, to help you reclaim it, because when you start to really step into this world, everything shifts, everything changes. And I like to look at it as like I'm here to really help women get your toes in the sand. And by that, I mean really reclaim your pleasure. Coming into that embodied state of pleasure is incredible. This is you at your most radiant and magnetic, most powerful vibration expression, and where you get your most genius ideas from, to be honest. And also to really get your hands in the clay. Speaking of ideas, right? Get your hands in the clay and really start to design your life from the inside out in alignment with your desires. Your desires are so unique to you, they are sacred. And so, if that's something that's interesting to you, I think you'll be happy here. And I'm just really thrilled that you're here giving it a try. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk a lot about pleasure, we're going to talk a lot about desire. And I want to dive into an episode on manifestation, how to manifest like a goddess. Yeah, because I feel that there's a lot of misinformation, or what's really missing, I should say, about manifestation. The conversations about manifestation and law of attraction is the feminine, is pleasure, is sensuality, is erotic energy. This is something the ancients knew and embraced and lived and created beautiful civilizations from that space. And us modern women, we get tripped up a lot on this because we're trying to be good girls. We're trying to, not be too intense and not really own our passion. So I want to really just give you the cliff notes on this, because we dive deep in Goddess School. We have our salon this week is on exactly this. I call it Falling in Love with the Dark Goddess. And it's all about how to really work with the law of attraction in a manifestation practice where it really truly honors you as a woman, honors you as a woman who feels a lot of emotion. And how do we really honor that and bring that into practice so we can get truly clear on our desires and get into alignment with them? That's where the magic happens. So, law of attraction. What is this? If you're new to this conversation, maybe you don't hang in spaces that talk about this kind of thing. But the law of attraction is the most powerful law of the universe. Unless we bring in the feminine, unless we bring in the raw, real emotions and ways to work with them effectively, it's going to feel like bypass. Like just think good thoughts, think happy thoughts, and everything's going to be fine. When you are really living in this female human body with a lot of emotion running through you, and why it feels so real and so big for us, especially as women, I believe, is that our emotions, our trauma, and our generational trauma gets stored in what's called our fascia, the connective tissue of our body. So when we're feeling the feels, when we're feeling big feelings, we feel like that's our identity. We become that. Do you know that feeling? Like when you're really enraged about something, you just feel like you become it, you embody it, right? And that's a female talent. I want to say that can really work for you. And quite often it works against us. When we have intense emotions, we embody them, we lash out, and then we end up, instead of having that fire heat our home and create something beautiful and cook up something amazing and delicious, we tend to burn the house down. I know I've been there, and I know you have too. So there are definitely ways to work with your passionate, let's say, emotions in ways that serve you. But you got to be willing to do the work, and you have to be willing to care about how you feel and do a little excavation work. So that's what we're going to do in this episode. I'm going to share again the cliff notes of the salon that I'm teaching this week so you can get started on working with this. So again, the law of attraction, the most powerful law in the universe. This is not just fantasy and magical thinking. Although I do love magical thinking, I have nothing wrong with magical thinking. But I think the greatest minds to speak on the law of attraction, and this is quantum physics, right, is Albert Einstein. He has said so many beautiful and powerful things about this. I'm going to quote one of my favorites right here. I'm going to squint a little bit so I can read it to you without paraphrasing too much. He says, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, it's physics. I love that quote so much because that's it in a nutshell. Yeah, we can really dismiss this as like, what is he talking about? But really, when you take that in, we live in a vibrational universe and we are vibrational beings. And once we understand how this law of attraction works and how to work with our emotions, that's the key. We can start to have this really work for us. Does that mean our lives are going to be perfect? Hell no. We're always going to have challenges. And that's just what the expansion of life is. And we start to just see those challenges differently. That's another thing I think that happens in the conversations about manifestation. There's this assumption that life should be perfect and that we're bypassing. And we want to move away from that because it's really not what it's about. It's about being fully alive and engaged. Again, your toes in the sand and your hands in the clay, and meeting the challenges in life from a much more empowered place. And we do that with our emotions and with pleasure. But before we dive into the juicy details on this, I just want to say that society is set up for us to stay in drama and trauma. And you might find yourself in this space of constantly reacting to life like playing whack-a-mole. Yeah. And never in history have we had so much information coming at us and so many things to react to. And in a way that's amazing. We're all connected in new and beautiful ways. And yet there's a lot coming at us and our nervous system can barely hang on most days. So we have to be really discerning about what we're taking in, because it's really easy to get in the habit of really trying to control things that we have absolutely no control over. We just don't have control over something horrible that you see in your Instagram feed or on the news or something like that. We don't truly have control, like real agency to change, or we can change things by getting involved. That's not what I mean. But we spend way too much energy focusing on things that we can't control. And on a personal level, that can translate to trying to really control behavior of the people around us, family members, lovers, even friends and coworkers, when we don't really have control over that. What we do have control over is, again, getting our toes in the sand and our hands in the clay, getting clarity around our desires and getting in alignment with that. And if we spend a lot of time needing other people to change or situations to change in order for us to feel good, we're screwed. We want to really get clear on that we have to take responsibility for our pleasure, and our responsibility for our nervous system and even our healing. And of course, we deserve support. We want support. We want to do that in a supportive environment and all of that. However, we have to take the reins on that. And until we do, we're just going to be at the mercy again of circumstance. When you are not at the mercy of your circumstance, really, you have a lot more agency than you've been led to believe. So let's just talk about desire. Now, years ago, a teacher said something to me that forever changed me. I was having, at the time, a lot of anger and rage and resentment, especially in my marriage. And it was running me. And I was really caught up in reacting. I was really caught up in needing him to change for me to feel better, all the things. And I couldn't even get clear or give you an idea of what I truly desired. I was just so kind of cracked out on the complaint, if you will. And one of my teachers said to me, rage is passion without a place to play. And that just really struck me. I was like, oh, okay. So, wow, I have a lot of passion. It was a great reframe. So all this rage and anger, it's actually passion. This is a big part of my feminine soul, my wild feminine, my dark feminine. she's a wild woman, and she's got a lot of passion, and she's been really subdued, over these past 40-odd years, because this was happening when I was about 40 and starting to go through menopause. So that was key. And then another teacher shortly after that said, under every complaint is a desire. And the bigger the complaint, the bigger the desire. So I was like, oh yeah, she got me there. So those two concepts together really changed my life, starting to really get more clarity on, wow, I'm feeling a lot of emotion here, and I'm really expecting this guy to change in order for me to feel better. What is my end of it, right? How can I take agency instead of waiting for him to change or waiting for the world to change? How can I take my power back here? And it was through desire. It was through desire clarity. However, it wasn't just thinking happy thoughts. It wasn't just like that pivot of like, let me just shift my mindset and I'll be fine. I needed to come into my body. And this is where it's so key to get how the feminine has been left out of most conversations about manifestation, because the feminine is the embodied space. This is where, say, if you have a strong emotion, for example, like rage, you want to take it into an embodiment practice that embraces your Eros, your sensuality. So we're talking non-linear movement, erotic movement. This is one of the tools that I teach. And in my free resource library, we talk about it a bit in the breath work. We add breath and sound and movement into our practice so that we can take those tough emotions and put them in motion. And what that does is we have, again, this fascia, this connective tissue where our emotions and our trauma get stored. By bringing in breath and nonlinear movement and getting really kind of sensual with it, erotic with it, what you do is liberate your body's intelligence. What you do is liberate your femme genius. This puts your emotions in motion in such a way that they start to alchemize, where you start to process in a way that you get insights, where you start to really get that space, somatic space, to feel the desire beneath the complaint. It doesn't happen from the head. I mean, it can to a degree, but when you bring it into the body with, say, get on all fours, like in cat cow, put on some music and just get wild with it. It's getting really erotic, moving like a stripper, getting the emotions in motion. That's what we're talking about. And that's really key to not bypassing, right? So if you have a lot of rage, a lot of fear, a lot of sadness, you could even do this with sadness and grief. It might be a little bit more subdued if you're really feeling that heaviness of grief, that I'm talking about. But again, that's in your body. And we're not trying to get rid of, we're trying to invite these emotions into motion so that this beautiful guidance system, this beautiful compass you have, which is your emotions, can start to inform you on what's going on, what's the desire beneath the complaint. And that puts you back in the saddle, because just lashing out or stuffing it are usually the options that were given in patriarchy, and neither of them works. But you want to really take back your agency of, how do I really work with this gift of this strong emotion to get some clarity on what is it that I really truly want. So that's my first tip for you, is to, if you have a strong emotion, I want you to bring it in again to some kind of embodiment practice. Now, again, in the Goddess Vault, my free resource library, we have something called Vital Goddess Breathwork, and we work with the breath in such a way that we invite movement in, nonlinear movement in as well. And that is a fantastic way to put your emotions in motion so you could start to get the clarity. So step number one, if we're going to put this in a formula, right, we'll call this the Dark Goddess formula. Step number one, you want to put your emotion in motion. Step number two, when you feel ready and not a moment sooner, want to start to excavate the desire beneath the complaint. You'll feel for it. You'll feel it in your body. You'll get the insights. They'll come in loud and clear if you really take this on. Your body doesn't lie. And I think you'll be amazed at what comes in for you. And there might be tears. There might be need for punching a pillow. Whatever it is, go for it. You want to really not hold back and let your body have her experience with the strong emotion, whatever it is for you. So again, put it into motion. And step two, what's the desire? That might take some time for it to surface, but once you get that desire, what is it you truly, truly want? You might want to journal on it at this point. You want to really get into alignment with that desire through feeling good about it, to really infuse it with pleasure. And here's the thing, most women are carrying a ton of desire shame. You are never most likely taught that your desire is sacred, that your desire matters, that what you want is even on the table or on the agenda. So there could be a lot of what I call desire shame. So we want to start busting that shame by just, again, feeling into the pleasure of already having it. You want to come into that sense, again, like Einstein said, you want to meet that frequency of already having it in your body and feeling really damn good about it. Now, all of the practices I teach in my goddess school will help you get better at that, because we do work with erotic cultivation. And there are tried and true practices that really help you tap into the amazing power of your erotic pleasure, and using it as a wellness practice. First of all, when we work it with it in this way, you really rejuvenate your body from the inside out. It's fantastic for your whole system, but it also really dials up your magnetism, your radiance, your vibration of getting your ability to get into alignment with what it is you actually want to call in. And you want to practice this on a regular basis, this frequency of what you want. You want to have a practice around this of starting every day in that space. Now, according to Abraham Hicks, and I love this, they say if you can inhabit a frequency for as little as 17 seconds, it starts to build momentum according to the law of attraction. Yeah, it starts to gather momentum. If you do that 4 times in a row, so 68 seconds, then it really kind of solidifies more as a strong vibration. So think about that. That's not a lot of time. I would say spend each morning like getting into that vibration of already having it, whatever it is for you, right? And coming in to your pleasure around it. Now, if you are in my world and you know some pleasure practices like breast massage, we have lots of other ones that are hands off and easy to do. Lots of different self-pleasure practices that can really juice this up. But again, we're not talking a lot of time here for it to start to gain momentum. So coming in first thing in the morning, before you turn on your phone, before anybody else gets a hold of you and your thoughts, you want to start when you're fresh, right? That's when you're more connected to what's called theta, where you're more impressionable, where you can really work with your body as a vibrational system. So starting each morning with that, getting into it. And again, think about it, 68, you could set your timer if you'd like. What I love to do is just put on a song, some music that's about 3 minutes, right? And I try to just stay as a meditation in that frequency of that pleasure of my desire already manifested for the duration of that song, right? So starting each day with that will absolutely change your manifestation game. And don't stop there. What I want you to do is really get good at stepping into that frequency and microdose that frequency throughout your day. So little doses, again, as little as 17 seconds could be a good refresh. So refreshing it throughout your day. Here's our formula, right? And then at the end of the day, really nice to do at the end of the day, come into your pleasure once again, already having it before you drift off into dream world. And if you can adhere to that, again, it takes some work and discipline, but not a lot of time. It really isn't a lot of time. What's the biggest obstacle here is our brains, our limiting beliefs that are going to say all kinds of weird stuff that just isn't true, that this is a waste of time, that your desires don't matter, and this is lazy and selfish and whatever, all that crap. That just is simply not true, that you most likely have gained or gathered a lot of evidence that you think it's true, but it's not true. It's not you. And you are not your circumstance. You are not your trauma. You are not your past experience. You are truly a creatrix. So again, just to recap that, strong emotions, we want to not avoid them. They're not bad. They're good. They're gold. You want to really bring them into motion, nonlinear, erotic motion, move like a stripper, so you get some desire clarity. And that comes from the body. Your body's wisdom knows exactly what you want. This is your inner dark goddess waking up, stretching, spreading her wings and informing you on, we know what you don't want. Now, what do you want? What's the juicy desire there? Because I guarantee you there is one. And then getting into the frequency of that, juicing it up with pleasure and doing that as a practice every day. So that's all I got for you. Again, I hope those cliff notes serve you well. The place to really bring this more central in your life and really change your life is, of course, Goddess School. And you can learn more about that with a link in the show notes. But again, we'll be opening the doors real soon for our pre-sale, pre-game goddess party, if you will. And so definitely stay tuned. And our semester this fall has been incredible. We're going to start up again at the end of January, and we'll go through about mid-May. And again, I have a whole series of curated salons like this, like the Dark Goddess, so if you like this kind of content, that are all designed to support you, again, to get your toes in the sand, your hands in the clay, and really step into the goddess you were born to be. All right, so that's all I got for you this time, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.